Parents of Reddit, what is the most absurd thing you've found on your kid's social media? Not technically a parent, but an older sister. So my little brother, when he was around 7-ish, had a search history of naked women and such. And when my mother found out and confronted him, he cried and was saying he just wanted to be like Jack from the Titanic by drawing naked women, and he had a few pages of his attempted drawings. When my twins were young, elementary school, they were looking up The Simpsons and accidentally came across cartoon Simpsons pornography. The computer was in the living room, so I heard them giggling and turned to see two guilty little faces. So hard not to laugh and so disturbing. What a conversation. The sight of Milhouse and Lisa is forever burned into my retinas. When I was like 12, my dad found Dragon Ball Z hentai in my history searches and proceeded to look through all of the pages while I hid in the bathroom pretending to take a shit. I remember him yelling my name and having to mentally prepare to deny everything, LMAO. I'm scared as shit to have kids and find their porn searches. Pictures of my daughter, 11, posing quite harmlessly that went on to bum shots, wearing shorts. Someone pretending to be a 14-year-old girl asked her to do these shots for a modeling competition and sent similar shots so she knew how to pose. She eventually stopped the conversation. The pics came through to my iPad, linked devices. Police got involved and also CEOP. They originated from an account in South Africa, so Interpol took over the case and we will probably never get an update. Instagram never even bothered to respond to my report. Not super similar, but related. My mom gave me and my sister diaries when we were about 14 to 15, and I instantly knew it was a trap and they would read it. So I drew a monster truck and some stick figures doing kung fu, then left it. My sister instantly decided to write about the dude she f***ed under the pier and how she had been smoking weed every day and how much she hated my parents. I have never seen someone dig themselves a grave so deep so fast. They read them the minute we left for school in the morning. Oof, great way to make sure your kids never trust you again. Though, with how you knew they'd go through them, it sounds like trust didn't exist in the first place. Dang. I once found my sister trying to search sexy boy peenies. She might have just missed an S, but I still find it hilarious. When I was 9 or 10, my buddy and I were on the family computer doing whatever 9 or 10-year-olds do. My friend told me to go to prettygirls.com. Innocent enough. Except it directed us to a porn site and we immediately panicked and closed the browser. My mom really chewed us out when she found it. I tried to tell her we were just looking for pretty girls, but she wasn't having it. It was a long few weeks of computerless punishment. Edit. Not to kill the fun, but I am a woman and a tattoo artist body piercer, haha. Thus the stabby username. That my 12-year-old son searched for pro study tips. No joke. My son, trying to study harder. Never a million years in lives would I have expected this. Not a parent, but my cousin one time got onto the computer when he was 11 or 12 or so and searched for naked 12-year-old girls. I was there when his stepdad checked through the browser history, and needless to say, he and my cousin had a chat about acceptable search terms. Not social media, but once caught both of my nieces playing an animated game online, where the objective was to spank a cartoon butt with a paddle. Every time they'd swing the paddle at the butt, it would emit the sound of a woman moaning. They couldn't understand why the game was inappropriate and were laughing hysterically while playing. Kinda close, so I have a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. They both love to watch kids' YouTube. Mostly these annoying toy unwrapping videos, I don't know. Anyhow, the other day I was working on my computer and they were playing Play-Doh. My 2-year-old comes into the room and asks my wife, while I'm listening, "Mommy, I made this." My wife, "Oh, that's awesome." 2-year-old, "Do you like it? Let me know in the comments." My wife and I, DEAD. My 15-year-old step-bro-in-law used my wife's laptop while he was visiting the house and forgot to clear the history. His Google searches included girls pussing, hot puss, pussy willows, boobs and pussing sex. Now that I typed this out, I am wondering if he was just misspelling pissing. That would make a little sense, albeit not comforting. Not my kid, but on Halloween I saw a post on my 17-year-old cousin's Snapchat that was a selfie captioned verbatim, "Any girls trying to come over here and suck on this spooky dick and get festive with some pumpkin spice lattes?" I immediately facepalmed and laughed my ass off for a solid 15 minutes. I have 2 quick stories. When I was a little girl, I wanted to play some Barbie games or look at girl stuff, so I went to girls.com. Went downstairs to my mom crying in order to rat myself out. My little sister had something similar happen. She wanted to look at new bikes in order to decide what to ask Santa for. She went to dicks.com hoping to see Dick's Sporting Goods. Instead, she saw a lot of schlong. Guess it runs in the family. A friend from work's son goes to a fairly strict Catholic school. One day I was walking out to my car, and she was outside yelling on the phone and generally freaking out. I waited around. She usually has a lot of funny drama going on. She hangs up the phone, looks at me, and starts hyperventilating and then laughs hysterically. I was like, "Girl, what is going on?" She said her son's principal called. She and her husband need to come to the school immediately. That her son will fill her in on the rest. She continues to tell me her son said he got caught looking at naked ladies on the internet. and the principal printed out his search history. He searched booby prawn and lady parts during class. She was yelling at her husband on the phone, telling him about the situation, and all he had to say was, "We should have taught him how to delete the history." Oh dear God, reading this makes me realize how much my parents probably saw in my search history before I knew about incognito mode. Okay, it should be my parents telling this story, but here goes. So when I was a youngin' and just exploring the internet, I would usually just go on Disney Channel to play games, but I wanted to find more sites with fun girly stuff on them. So of course, I just went to girls.com. Well, that took me right to a porn site and my little self was like, whoops, and closed it right away. Well, apparently my dad had been looking at the browser history and noticed. So my dad is interrogating my two older brothers, asking who was looking at porn, and they of course said it wasn't them. My dad was persistent with trying to get them to confess until I come down the stairs and confess that it was me. My brothers had the biggest sigh of relief. Not a parent, but one time my mom made me really mad and my dad had to talk with me about how I googled how to kill my mom, and why it's wrong to think killing someone will get me PS2 games. Not a parent, but when I was a kid, I found an adult flash game website. I would go on it whenever I had the chance. Eventually, my mom found out and she told my dad to talk to me about it. My dad and I got into the car and she started this serious talk about how the internet is a very powerful tool. I felt really guilty. Then he told me how to erase the browsing history. A guy on Instagram sent my 12-year-old stepdaughter and her friends dick pics. Not just once, but many times. The police are involved and he has been located in NYC, but we have yet to hear anything back yet. Disgusting. That my son is an urban explorer. He's 14 and I saw some video of him and his friends sneaking into an old Air Force base and climbing to the top of an air hangar. Aunt of Reddit. I was trying to figure out my niece's age, but it was too late to call my mom and ask. I remembered she has an Instagram account, and I thought that might help me figure out how old she is. I looked her up. She has the standard tween Insta bio about what activities she likes and a list of like 15 of her BFFs, immediately followed by pondering, and I quote, "Mostly why do people hate me?" She's 12. She is definitely 12. Can I do the inverse? My dad recently opened an Instagram account, and within 10 minutes of having it, managed to accidentally upload a screenshot of our Wi-Fi password to it. Like, I have no idea how he managed that. Even put a filter on it for some reason. My 15-year-old dropping acid on Snapchat. So, not just shitty choices, but we're raising a kid stupid enough that not only created video evidence, which was beyond dumb, but to keep it under my story. Checked my 11-year-old son's search history to find a number of interesting questions. Do men grow vaginas? Will my penis disappear when I'm 18? Will I become a girl? How do I save my penis? I asked him about his search history a couple days later, and he told me that some kids in his school told him that when boys turn 18, they turn into girls and lose their penis. Those bastards. Once I called my mom and asked her what a penis, pronounced pen-is instead of penis, because I got an email asking me if I wanted a larger one. Edit, I am a female, was 7 during the call. One time when my brother was like 7 or 8, we walked in on him searching poop on Google Images. He was definitely too young for anything sexual, and I think he was just bored and thought it would be funny. It was pretty weird. Daughter was 6 at the time. She was supposed to be asleep, and I go to charge up her Kindle and can't find it. Go to her room and quietly sneak in. I find her watching a video under a blanket. It's popular mechanics and how to build your own windmill. She had a mock model in the corner of the room she was working on. Definitely wasn't expecting that. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. Press the like button, and parents, write in the comments what you found in your children's browser history.